Alright, so I kind of missed a week of updates. I might still post that, but I've actually gotten a lot of work done. I think I'm pretty much on schedule with where I wanted to be by this time. So I've been converting my React Native and basically functional MVP application to Svelte. And I need to make a video going through like the details of why I'm doing this. There are a couple good reasons that I always touch on. But I've been converting that over, and I figured it would take about 3 weeks. I had a couple days off where I was actually out of town, and I couldn't do the same kind of work that I'd usually do on my weekends or anything because I was on vacation, and my wife would have killed me. So in any case, that was nice and restful, but I'm back at it, and I'm going to show you where I am now. So last time when I started discussing this, I'd basically just gone through the login flow and added some content based off of the SEO research. So, that's going to be an ongoing thing, but I find it helps me to kind of flesh out pages early on, and then as I change my mind or think of other things, I can modify them. But what I've got right now is the real-time functionality set up with Svelte, which I didn't have before. I didn't have until this weekend. I've got additional logic on the bingo game. So I initially had the logic in the React Native version where the user was able to go ahead and click through different tiles for bingo, and if they found they had what worked as a bingo combination, which for now I'm just doing 5 across, 5 down, or 5 diagonal either way, then it would prompt them to say, like, it looks like you've won, what do you want to do? And I had stopped there. I hadn't continued the logic to actually get toward a winner and provide that feedback to the other people playing the game, because that's around the point when I made the full decision to convert to Svelte, and it made more sense, even though they're both JavaScript, to just do the conversion, wait until I got everything, all the little bits and pieces over to Svelte, and then just put all the logic in there, rather than create it in React Native, potentially, have how I update the DOM and things like that, a little bit different and have to tweak it anyway. So that's what I was able to do this weekend, is get a lot of that logic in. So I'm going to walk you through the flow, and I'm going to talk about a couple cool things that Svelte allows me to do a lot easier than I think React or React Native, especially when it comes to just like out-of-the-box support from Svelte and or Sapper. All right, so I'm going to sign in. So you've already probably seen this. All right, so I'm basically just signing in with 2 different accounts here. This is Chrome, and then this is in Firefox, and that's so you can see the real-time update with multiple players while that signs in. So I have not yet transitioned fast libs, actually the first game that I've been working on, over. For right now, I've only done bingo, and I've actually only done support for one deck, not the traditional bingo game, so you'll see that. So even though I have competitive bingo, which is just bingo, I don't have the bingo specific logic of picking numbers. You can see there's a little UX problem here that I just need to fix and tweak. And then these numbers don't match up to normal bingo style, which is, for the B, it's I think 1 through 15. And then I is 16 through 30 or whatever it is on down. So I don't have that logic in place, so I'm going to go back actually, and I do have the logic for online meeting bingo, which translates basically into the same logic for any cards like this, where you don't have that bingo flow of a number popping up that you're trying to match with. So this is actually the more versatile of the two anyway. And I didn't point out before, but you'll notice I have a different game code here. I created a new game. So I'm going to go ahead and join, now that I've logged in, I'm going to go ahead and join that game in my Firefox as well. And I'll just, before I join, I'm going to click a couple of these. You can see that it updates. And this is really just to show that you can join the game at any time. That's a flow that I want to hold on to as long as the game is existent. So I'm going to maintain that. We'll give Firefox a second here.
1 second.
There we go. All right. So you can see that I've joined, and then I have all of these updates already. Now what you'll notice is I have two random boards, and if you look at like what I'm going to call the 00 spot here, just because we're talking about like graph language, I have two different tiles. That's because we do generate a new board each time, and it's random based off of, I want to say something like 75 or 80 different potential tiles. So you'll probably see a couple of the same ones. For example, coffee refill. Go ahead and click here. Click too fast, clicked it twice. There we go. So you can even see that this updates, and then it'll probably take a second here. I found that it does ultimately update when you click it back and forth, but sometimes there's a little bit of jank with that. There we go. So I have coffee refill on both boards, and a couple other things you'll see matched throughout, but I'm sure there are several where it's only on one board or the other, which is what we want. So, another thing you might have noticed is that transition I had at the beginning. I love that transition. And that's basically out of the box Svelte transitions. The only thing I do is based upon the grid location of each tile, I multiply by an offset to delay, a delay offset of I think probably 25 or 50 to represent the milliseconds. So I think I add 1 just so I never have 0 times this offset, and basically that ripples throughout, kind of from the top left down to the bottom right, which I think is really cool and just a nice little effect. And because that transition is out of the box, I fiddled around with figuring out exactly what I wanted, because I do a scale-in transition here, but I played around with doing a fly-in where everything comes down from the one side and then lands in. I played around with doing a couple of other things just to see what effect I liked the most, and that ended up being it, just having that kind of spreading pop in down from the top left. So anyway, that's pretty much where we are. Game flow is really cool. If you click up to where you've got winners, and these are the tiles that I clicked, then not only do I have this board updating, but I also get prompted, do you, and you'll notice that this doesn't update yet, do you want to go ahead and declare bingo or keep playing? And that'd be I accidentally clicked one that I didn't mean to click. So here I'm going to declare bingo. And shortly thereafter, unless I didn't actually click it, let's see. There we go. We post the update, and because we're subscribed, the other players get this message, and here they actually see which tiles rather than not seeing which tiles, but just seeing the locations. And I have not completed this workflow, but it gives the option to accept defeat or reject defeat. So let's say the user's saying, no, I didn't hear anyone, I didn't hear anyone's spouse interrupting. Then, what I need to do is let them click this, check that that's not okay, and then reject and send that back. And if they accept it, then we need to send some kind of message where, that player who declared bingo won. So that's about where I am for right now. These both just dismiss it. But I think I've made some really good progress. I'm really happy. And yeah, really happy with where we are. That's all for now.